simplify something for you. If you work a full-time job and then come home and then work on your dream client or project for your brand, you're not building alone. You're not building in silence, and you're not wasting time figuring out where you stand, why you struggle to keep everything afloat. But you might feel like, I'm behind. I see everybody else on trend and getting this gig and announcing they made this much money and partnering with this brand, and I'm still figuring out if I should continue doing this. Is this worth my time? You're not delusional. You're not wrong for questioning how you feel and what you're doing. But on today's episode of Demystified Moments, I'm going to break down to you the myths that we often see from creators like yourself, starting with myth number 1. Often you see creators, founders, aspiring designers, or designers early on in their career, lost of how do they keep up? And you don't have to keep up. You set the tone for how fast and what projects and who you work with. You determine the time. No one else. Well, maybe the client as well, because you are working with them, but it's up to you at the end of the day. Now, sometimes you might feel like, well, I'm not where I want to be, and I don't know how long it's going to take me to get to that point, which leads me to myth number 2. There's no right or wrong way to say that you have to go about doing things a certain manner in order to be quote unquote successful within your brand alone, because you define who your brand is, what it does, and how it serves the market. So keep that in mind. Now, for myth number 3, just to let you all know, is one that often people easily get caught up in, because with society now, everything's so rapid paced that, we have to put things on social in order to be able to get some type of awareness and engagement. But it goes even further than that now, that people feel like if you don't have a viral moment or you don't cross off a certain numerical checklist, then you must not be doing what you're supposed to be doing. And that leads to all kinds of negative mental breakdowns, basically, that can be avoided and can be addressed in a more healthier way if you just take the time to be able to realize your highlights are not the highlights of everyone else's, and someone else's highlights doesn't determine where you are within the market as well, because even if they are in the same industry, whether you're a competitor or they're someone else that you look up to in an adjacent market, it still is always helpful and mindful to remember that this is not a one-shot, one-time thing and then this is over with. When it comes to building anything, it takes time to get to wherever you're trying to get. So keep that in perspective at all times. It's decision versus delusion. It's discipline versus delusion. Keep that in mind, and that will keep you on the track to where you need to be, as opposed to where you think you need to be, keeping yourself relatable and also just keeping yourself grounded so you're not losing yourself on what you think you need to have and what you really do need. That's the most important thing. And then for my fourth and final hidden, advantage when it comes down to this, you know, I realized that even myself, like as a founder and as an artist, working personally for years for, you know, other brands or other companies while I still work on my own stuff is just a testament of it. Practice what you preach, man. Really is. Practice what you preach. And even when you practice what you preach, it doesn't stop there. You always have to keep on remembering that what you did for the last project, you want to either duplicate the process and do better on the next project. And that's all you can hope for as far as continuing to grow as an artist or as a designer, or whatever your profession is. But over here at Death, we are taking our page for our own, notes as far as our journaling and taking in consideration the mindfulness that goes into presenting for the world and for the industry as a whole, because we want to make sure that we are presenting the culture in the best light so that there's no room for misinterpretation or for others to basically discredit us in any kind of manner that is unfortunate, but it happens. So keep that in mind. I just want to go ahead and just close off today by saying, if you're working on something as well, after hours or before hours of whatever your daily routine is, whether you're a student or you're not a student, or you have a practice or you have a business and you don't, or you're thinking about it, we want to know what's the most frictional part of building something like Deft to you in your own personal way. Is it the timing? Is it the confidence? Or is it the lack of direction? Next time when we talk, hopefully we'll be able to demystify which one is your trigger when it comes to the friction and what's causing you to not get past where you are as of right now as a audience viewer who is watching, ready to go to the next level. If it's time that you're struggling with, I will say this. Time is something that everybody gets the same amount of, whether we realize it or not, but how you use it is what really matters. Energy. Don't let nothing that happened from now, later on today, or yesterday determine where you are in the moment. Always stay focused and mindful of where you are in the moment, and that will lead you so much further than just going through the motions or being depressed or feeling the burnout, because it's real. It is real. Mystify moments. Mystify. Mystify moments. Mystify. Mystify moments. Mystify. Mystify moments. Demystify. Demystify moments. Demystify. Demystify.
moments. Demystify moments. Demystify